Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episode 2346. I don't know what's going on this season, but everybody seems to be spewing their true feelings or what's really going on behind the scenes on Afterparty. This week's Afterparty episode was 1 hour. They split it up between Chloe and Austin, then Becca and Cameron, and it didn't disappoint. I'll talk about it as we go through this episode. Hi, I'm Tamara, and this is Tamara Lynette Tells. So Emily, Becca, and Clarapis were complaining that none of the husbands have called. They feel like the men knew they were wrong. Chow, after that pizza party ambush, what else is there to say? Decision day's over. File for divorce, lick your wounds from the trauma of being on the show, then hop back into the dating scene. I think the only couple that needed to have a conversation after the pizza party is Austin and Becca, since their breakup played out in a crowd. Austin's lion butt was probably afraid of getting cussed out, though, but he earned that. Take it like a man, Austin. Take it like a man. Michael and Chloe. So they went to an animal sanctuary where Chloe expressed that her dream since she was a kid is to own an animal sanctuary. I was like, hold up. I feel like I need them to roll back the tapes and rewind to her pre-marriage interview, because I don't remember her saying that she wants to care for like 500 animals. Not to mention the 5 foster kids she wants to have that could visit the animal sanctuary to receive unconditional love. Chloe, you're 39 years old and work in an office. None of us are getting any younger. Like, what are you waiting for to start your Noah's Ark, girl? Now, Michael said that he never considered fostering kids or living on a farm prior to meeting Chloe. So he's concerned, and he should be, because, well, there's nothing wrong with living on a farm, of course. It's not the same as living in a high-rise apartment in the city, which is Michael's current situation. Once again, the experts didn't take an important detail in mind and matched a city guy with a granola girl. Now, later, they were at a cool-looking bar, and Michael told the confessional cam that after the visit at the adult toy store that he and Chloe got it on. And it was really great and strengthened their bond. Okay. So no surprise that they had sex, though. I'm just glad the producers didn't show the actual footage, since they had no shame in showing them getting their foreplay on. So anyway, they were talking about what they would do after decision day. Michael would like them to live together 4-ish days a week and also live at their respective apartments for at least until their leases were up. Now, Chloe clearly was not feeling this idea, which kind of surprised me, because she was the one who wanted to take a few days off after the honeymoon because being together so much was overwhelming her. So Chloe asked Michael if there's anything that gives him pause, because she understands that having an animal sanctuary and fostering kids can be kind of scary. And he said, an animal sanctuary doesn't scare me. An animal sanctuary with 500 animals scares me. Fostering kids doesn't scare me. However, fostering 5 kids scares me. It's not the things, it's the intensity and the scope. I'm great with 2 children, but put 4 on me and that's going to be a lot for your boy. I'm just trying to figure out where this Noah's Ark dream with 5 foster kids riding goats requirement came from, and why anyone would think that that lifestyle would be a good match for Michael. I don't see that for him. So later, to celebrate their 1-month anniversary, they went to a beer spa. I didn't even know there was such a thing. To the confessional cam, Chloe said she feels happy that this is the healthiest relationship that she's ever been in her life. Now, that's actually really good to hear and rare these days for this show. So they hopped in a tub of hot beer together. Now, I think this was supposed to be sexy, but they looked like they were being marinated to be eaten for dinner at a Cannibals Are People Too convention. Chloe asked if decision day were tomorrow, what would you say? Now, to me, this always feels like a dangerous question to ask when decision day is still weeks away, because if it's not answered just right, it could deflate the entire relationship. So Michael basically said that he would have to be able to check off certain boxes, like have they progressed their emotional relationship? Does he feel like he wants to continue as a married couple? Will she share her favorite necklace with him when he wants to wear his man skirt to her work event? Important everyday scenarios. Okay, he didn't say the necklace part, but he did say that he doesn't have enough information right now to answer the question, which, let's face it, nobody wants to hear that. I want to hear that I'm an amazing person with no flaws, and if anything, he doesn't feel worthy to have me by his side. Pump me up a little bit. So Chloe said, I'm hearing that if decision day were tomorrow, it would be a no. So now this puts her in a position where she may need to feel the need to pull back a little bit to protect her heart. There is definitely a shift going on here. At first, Chloe was the one who was needing space and took a few days off after the honeymoon. Now she seems all in and he feels reluctant. So they ended up meeting with Dr. Pia, and she basically told them that their answers seem too curated. I don't know if y'all are giving me your little perfect answers for the camera, but as long as you're being honest with each other behind the scenes, we're good. They claim that they were being honest and raw in front of and behind the scenes. Now, I'm not sure if that's completely true for Michael because something seems off with him. Like, I don't know if Chloe's little break after the honeymoon turned him off or if he's just not feeling it, but he appears to be pumping the brakes. Now, meanwhile, the other couples basically need a hug from all the trauma they've been through. Becca was moving out when Clare came in. Now, Becca said she talked to Austin, who said he doesn't understand why he can't have the producer as a friend and Becca as a wife. She said she feels like she's being gaslit and lied to. Now, on Afterparty, Keisha asked Austin to explain what happened the night he went out with the producer. So he said that he had formed a friendship with the producer plus other crew members, and his friends befriended them too. So that particular day was going to be the producer's last day on set or something like that. So his friend Mark asked the producer out for drinks and invited a group of folks to hang. So once they got to the bar, more people came. Now later, they decided to move the party to a different location, which is where they ran into Clare and Emily. So Austin claims that this wasn't a one-on-one hangout with a producer, but with a group of people. So Keisha asked him if he invited Becca to hang out with them, and he said he invited her at the end of the night. He said that Becca told him that she needed time to reflect and decompress at her own apartment. Now, I'm not sure why he emphasized the point that she was at her own apartment, being that he moved out of their shared apartment before decision day. Anyway, what we didn't hear Keisha ask is what was the big deal about that producer in particular? Because it didn't feel like Becca had a problem with him going out that night. It felt like the problem was who he was with, that producer. And it seemed like Austin knew he shouldn't have been out with her because he lied about it. Hopefully, we'll get more backstory on this producer situation because inquiring minds want to know. Meanwhile, Emily talked to her friend. She said she's a little concerned because she doesn't know what to expect her emotions to be when she gets home. She's been sad and crying a lot. Now, on Afterparty, it came out that there was definitely more to Emily and Brennon's situation than met the eye, which we knew. Not only did Cameron accuse Clare of being Emily's puppet master, meaning that Clare was telling Emily what to say to Brennon, but apparently, while they were taping, Emily went out one night. This Australian guy was flirting with her, and eventually he and Emily ended up making out. Now, it sounds like this happened while she and Brennon were in a bad place, but there definitely seems to be something going on here. Like, more pieces of the puzzle are missing because Emily was in tears when Clare told her that Brennon wanted to go on a double date with Cameron. But according to Cameron, he was the one who brought up the double date, not Brennon. But where in the timeline did that happen in relation to when Emily kissed that Australian? Because if she's so fed up with Brennon that she felt it was okay to make out with that guy, what was she fighting for in terms of this relationship? Because Brennon, Mr. Personality, wasn't giving her much to work with since they got back from the honeymoon. Child, I need some answers and some clarification because this math ain't mathing for me. Austin. So Austin moved back in with his roommate and he told her about how he went out with the producer and lied about it. So he said that he finally called Becca and she thought that he should have taken that time to think through things instead of party. And she was upset that he didn't apologize right off the bat. Now, the roommate actually sided with Becca regarding the apology. He straight up lied to her. Leading with an apology is the right thing to do. Now, on Afterparty, Keisha asked him about Becca feeling silenced. He said he doesn't know how much validity there is to that statement because they both talked off camera about certain things they didn't want to discuss on camera. But for the most part, he was like, want to talk about religion? Okay, let's talk about religion. Want to talk about sex? Fine, we'll talk about sex. He said Becca did the same thing, like she didn't want to talk about her illness to a certain degree either. So somehow it went from them talking about things off camera and beforehand to him silencing her. Now, we saw clips of them with our own eyes from the spy cameras in their apartment arguing because Austin was upset about things Becca said that were going to make him look bad. And Becca told him that you're more concerned with the optics than with what I was trying to convey to you. Austin was not giving this laid back, sure, let's talk about it, on camera energy during that argument like he was trying to make it seem on Afterparty. Maybe he was open to talking about most things as long as she didn't talk about it in a way that made him look bad. I don't know, that might just fall under the silencing category, Mr. Man. Brennon. Now, he met up with his friend to play pool. He was talking about how it feels to be single again. He said when he was married and miserable, he had to put his pride aside. It was hard because that's not what he signed up for. Whoa. Miserable? We never heard you say you were miserable. You always talked about what a great girl Emily is, and you want to work on the friendship. You even refused to talk about anything you were struggling with when it comes to her when asked point blank by an expert. But I will say, after learning that Emily was swapping saliva with another guy and Brennon never mentioned it, his statement on decision day where he said he was trying to protect her made a little bit more sense. Or did he not say anything about Emily tongue fighting with another guy because she had dirt on him too that he didn't want to be made public? I don't know. The way the season is going, nothing is what it seems. Anything is possible. So he also told his friend that one day he was looking through diary cams, going through their memories like they would do sometimes, and he ran across one where she was talking all kinds of crap about him. So he asked, are you going to delete this? Because this is really messed up. And later, Emily called him controlling for asking her to delete the diary cam. Now, the problem I have with his version of the story is that he related as if he was being sentimental by going through the diary cams. However, he didn't appear to have any sentimental feelings towards Emily. He just said he was miserable. So why would he want to relive the misery by watching her diary cams? Unless he was watching them to see if she was talking crap so he can get her to delete them before the producers got their hands on them and put them on the show. Child, this is a whole hot mess. It feels like the cast is using these days after decision day to clean up their image or cast doubt on anything negative that was said about them during the season. Lauren and Orion. So they went on a date to play bow and arrows. I really wish this show would let these two go their separate ways already. It's always a different version of the same conversation. Orion kind of wants a relationship with Lauren, but Lauren isn't sure. So guess what they talked about? Orion not being ready to date because he's not sure if he's done with their little love story yet. And he's interested in trying to be more than friends. Lauren basically said that she's not sure if he's worth the effort. Girl, I'm sure for you, he is not worth the effort. This man's feelings change for you as often as the spear in Vegas changes its graphics. 1 minute it's a confused face, and the next minute it's a lava lamp. Orion is never going to consistently make you feel secure or wanted in this marriage. Girl, move on. Cameron. Now, Michael called Cameron to check in on him. This is when he accused Clare of being Emily's puppet master. He said everything that Emily was doing was orchestrated by Clare, and he realized that this could be him and his marriage to her. So he said throughout their marriage, Clare lied to him to try to get a reaction out of him. And he's very happy that he's getting a divorce from her and has no intention of ever speaking to her again. Wait a minute. These two were practically crawling on each other's laps trying to sing the other person's praises. That was only 3 days ago. Where was all this she lied, she manipulated me, I want nothing to do with her when you were on the decision day couch? Were you lying then or are you lying now? So on Afterparty, Cameron said that prior to the pizza party, Clare asked him to be on the girl's side in regards to Brennon dating. And he said he wouldn't because he didn't want to lie where it could possibly destroy their marriage. What marriage? They said no to staying married, boo-boo. They are headed for divorce court just like you. So he said he'd lie to protect his own marriage, but he wasn't willing to lie to possibly destroy someone else's. And at that point, he basically lost respect for Clare. Now, Becca was clearly angry while listening to Cameron, so she interrupted and said, "You know what you said to Clare, and you have to live with that for the rest of your life. I've seen the text messages. You even told her to come across as being hard on camera." I'm like, text messages? What text messages? Why didn't the show capture any of this drama that's going on behind the scenes? Oh my God, the season would have been so much better. Anyway, Cameron said, "Okay, let's talk about text messages. Clare asked me to come up with a narrative to tell the producers why our relationship didn't work. She said, you're smarter than me. You can come up with a good story." Okay, I'm not buying that Clare said you're smarter than me. I think he's putting a little extra on it. Anyway, he also said, "I begged Clare, please don't stir the pots. Please don't rile things up in their marriage because I believe that it will only go bad for Emily." And then Clare said something like, "Cheaters are going to get what they deserve." So Cameron is painting Clare as the bad guy in his own marriage and Emily's. So between Clare and Cameron, somebody's lying. Now, the streets have been talking, and they are not saying good things about Cameron. Like, basically, he's not a good guy, but I haven't seen any receipts yet. But just like everything else in this season, there is more to this story than meets the eye. I don't know what it is, but hopefully some of it will come out during the reunion special. This season is a mess, and I'm starting to wonder if they need to go back to the old days when the couples didn't get to interact with each other. I believe they changed it so they could be a support system to one another, but I wonder how the outcomes of some of these marriages were influenced by the other couples. But on the other hand, for most seasons, certain cast members form what seem to be lifelong friendships. Like, if you're not going to walk away with a spouse, at least get a few friends out of it, right? This season was more about watching the relationships between a group of people grow more than watching couples grow a marriage and love. But I'm here for it, I guess, because here I am talking about it. And I've said enough for this episode. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in my next video.